As promised, another amazing meal I'm going to make today. My name's Neil Cook, I'm the psychic chef, and we are going to make the chicken Cantonese Hong Kong style. First going to make the sauce, then we're going to do the battered chicken, and then we're going to put it all together and serve it with noodles and rice. So the ingredients we're going to use is 600 millilitres of water. We've also got 300 millilitres of distilled white vinegar, which has already been added to the water. We have 100 ml of orange squash. You can use concentrated orange juice. We also have 100 gram of sliced ginger. We also have half a teaspoon of cloves, around 7 to 8 star anise, half a piece of cinnamon stick, around 5 cloves of garlic, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, 300 gram of sugar, and tomato puree and food colouring. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our wok nice and hot. If you haven't got a wok, then you could use a large saucepan or even something similar to this. Anything which will work on your stove will be okay. We're going to add around 2 tablespoons of oil, and we're looking to season all the spices in this oil before we add anything else. So we're going to put the star anise in, around 8 stars. We're then going to add the cinnamon stick. We're then going to add the clover, or the clovers, and we're also going to add the 100 gram of ginger. Now we're not going to add the garlic yet, because we only want to add the garlic once all these spices start to give us that smell. So we're going to lightly cook them, not brown them, but cook them to release all the smell. And what I have done is crush the garlic, so when it does go in, it'll release its flavours as well. So we're on a medium to high heat. I can now smell the ginger starting to release its flavours and smells. I can also smell the cinnamon stick, which is too starting to release that lovely cinnamon smell. And what I'm looking to do now at this point is add the garlic. If we add it too early, it will burn and then give your taste, or the meal itself, a sour taste. So we're now going to add the garlic. I'm just going to slightly reduce the heat because I don't want the garlic to burn. And you need to keep stirring this, ensuring it gets a golden colour on both sides. Just remember, these are only the spices. These are going to be sieved out at the end of it. Once we've made the sauce, the sweet and sour sauce, we're going to sieve all of this and everything we put in here off the top, only leaving that deep, rich, red, sweet and sour sauce. So I'm going to knock the heat down a little more, because I'm now adding the water and vinegar, and I don't want it to splash too much and sizzle. And then I'm going to bring it back up. I'm also going to add the 300 gram of sugar, and this will dissolve completely. I'm also going to add my freshly sliced orange. The seeds have been removed, and what we're looking from the orange is the flavour from the peel itself. I'm also going to add my 100 ml of fresh orange. And also my tomato puree as well, which is 50 grams. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to simmer for around 30 to 40 minutes. At that time we're going to strain all of this off, only leaving the sauce. Now the sauce itself has an orangey red tint to it, so this is where we're going to add our food colorant, and we only need a little bit until we get that bright red colour. And straight away you can see that sweet and sour red looking sauce straight away. So we just stand to boil now. I've got the timer running for 30 minutes, and then we're going to simmer this right down so it reduces. Only once it reduces will we add the corn flour to make sure we get that sticky coating sauce, but we don't want to add it yet because we've got a lot to reduce. So whilst our sweet and sour is reducing, what we're going to do is make our batter mix for the chicken. So here we have 4 dessert spoons of corn flour. You can use potato starch, but I couldn't get hold of any, and corn flour is a good substitute. We're then going to use 4 dessert spoons of custard powder, and it was recommended to me that we only use a certain brand, and I'm not sponsored by this, but I was told you had to use that brand for the amazing flavours. Get that lid back on, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Do not go over the top with the pepper because it'll leave a nasty taste. And what I haven't mentioned yet is when we mix the chicken with this batter, we need to add an egg to it. So I'm just going to give this a mix to make sure the salt, the pepper, the corn flour and the custard powder all mixes together, and then we're going to put 1/3 of this into this bowl, and then mix the egg with it and put our chicken in it, and then we're going to roll it back in here for the batter. So we need to coat all of this chicken with the batter mix. And then we're going to crack an egg on top of this and mix that in as well. Just add some more of this mixture. Both hands dirty. Right, and now we're going to add an egg to this and then dip it in the flour. Sorry, dip it in the batter mix. So we're coming up to the 35 minutes with this. It's been simmering away, it's all breaking down. We'll add some corn flour with water right at the last minute. What we don't want is to thicken it now whilst it's still reducing it. And we want to create a lovely sticky gooey sauce and not jam. So we're coming up to the final minute. As you can see, it's reduced quite a lot, and what we're going to do now is sieve this off into a very fine sieve, capturing any loose bits which are broken away. I'm going to bring this up to 170 degrees. Once it's at that temperature, it's then ready to do the first fry. We're going to do 2 fries, one at 170 degrees, then we're going to leave them stand for 20 minutes, and then we're going to refry them again to make them nice and golden, but at 190 degrees. So we've added an egg to this, and now it's time to massage it in. Sorry, that was off camera. As you can see there, the egg is now coating the chicken, and then we're going to bring the other batter in and then pop this into there and then give it another coating. So let's get this chicken all coated now. See if we can do it this way. So you might ask, why are we using custard powder? Well, the custard powder will not only bring a lovely taste to the Cantonese, but it'll also help it to go nice and golden brown. And we're going to slowly drop this into the hot fat. It's coming up to 170 now. So I've used 4 breasts of chicken, which is around 1 kilo in weight. Obviously you can reduce the measurements on the amount of chicken you use to how much mixture you make. So I've done 4 tablespoons of custard powder, half of salt and pepper, and 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I'm going to drop this into here now. I might be a little bit too hot, so I've turned the heat off, and we only want to cook them for around 5 to 6 minutes. So we're looking for something just a little bit more darker than that. We just want a couple of more minutes. I've only put about 6 in there because I'm trying to limit on how much oil I use. So these are about done. Remember, we're giving them a second fry. We're going to be deep fried again in about 20 minutes time. So we'll continue with the batch, and I'll show you the end product as and when they're done. Right, they've all been cooked. They're nice and crispy, but they do need a second fry. So they're very crispy at this moment in time. You can see the golden colour which has come from the custard powder, along with the cornstarch which has combined it all together, or bind it all together. And in 20 minutes, when they're fully cooled, then we're going to go back into the fat again and cook for the same amount of time. 20 minutes has passed. We're bringing up the oil to the temperature again, and we're going to refry these, deep fry them in the same oil, and that'll make them even crunchier. You can already see that these are now taking on a deep golden brown. I don't know if they show on camera, but they're a lot darker compared to the pre-cooked ones or the first fry ones. With this sweet and sour dish, I'm also going to serve rice and noodles. What I'm going to make with the pan-fried noodles is supreme soy sauce noodles, and that consists of 250 millilitres of water. I then add a chicken stock cube so it binds it all together. I will be adding a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of oyster sauce, a teaspoon of light soy sauce, and a 1.5 teaspoon of dark soy sauce. And also some sesame oil as well. I will be putting 6 cloves of garlic in this, and I'll also serve it with spring onion, adding the white heads at the beginning and then the green stalks at the end. This will all be served up with rice and the chicken sweet and sour. So let's start again. So the onion's all separated now. It's slightly starting to soften, but we don't want it too soft because obviously we're going to reduce the rest of this sauce, the sweet and sour sauce, in here. So I'm going to add the sauce now, the sweet and sour sauce, and leave it on a high temperature because we want this sauce thicken. So as you can see there, the sweet and sour sauce is in, and the only way we're going to thicken this now is first by reducing it a little bit more, and then we add a tiny bit of corn flour mixed with water and cook it off to take the floury taste away. And then as it starts to thicken, we then add the chicken. So the sweet and sour sauce is now coming to a boil, and we're going to keep that going. There's our little corn flour ready to thicken it up as and when it's needed, and it's a couple of spoonfuls of corn flour and the same in water, and then quickly stir to get rid of the lumps. When you add your corn flour, you will need to cook it for a little bit longer so it takes away the taste of the corn flour, because if you serve it up more or less straight away, you will get that floury taste in the food. So the final parts of the cooking process, guys, we're almost ready to go. The rice is in the steamer. I've got my noodles there to pop in this pan. I'm first going to cook the garlic off first. After a few minutes, I'm going to add the 250 millilitres of water mixed with the chicken stock, the oyster sauce, the light and dark soy sauce, pepper and sugar into there. I'm going to add the corn flour into there just to thicken it up. Little bits at a time, don't just pour it straight in, guys, because you'll end up with a marmalade. It'll just set straight away. So little bits, keep stirring, and then when it's time to add your double fried chicken in, then you're going to do that and fold them in. What I'm also going to do is put my water into my mixture. It's going to be hot water, that way it'll dissolve the chicken stock cube and it'll be at the right temperature when I add it in there as well. And just as always, when I do my noodles on here, the 250 millilitres of liquid is going to be reduced down, so all the liquid, the sugar, is all caramelised over the noodle, and then it combines together. So it's getting a bit noisy now in the kitchen. There goes my garlic. We do not want to burn this. So the garlic is kicking off some heat and smell, so I now know it's time to add my heads of the spring onion. And we're just going to quickly glaze them. We're only on a medium heat because we don't want to burn the garlic. And this is 500 grams of pan noodles they are, or straight to wok noodles as they may be known as in the supermarket. So they're going to go in next. We're just going to slightly glaze these as well in the garlic and oil. That's already beginning to thicken already. Try not to break the noodles. I'm going to just turn up the heat a little now. By cooking them like this before we put the liquid in, it just takes that alkaline taste away from the noodle. Some noodles can have that little alkaline taste if you don't sear them off first. This is almost ready now. I don't think it may need the corn flour. It's extremely thick. We'll see. I'm now going to add the liquid to here, 250 ml with the dark light oyster sauce, sugar. There it goes. And we're going to reduce that, and we're on a high heat. So I'm going to reduce the sweet and sour. I've got my chicken ready to go in batter, and once that's in there and it's done, I can turn the heat off and it'll keep hot whilst we're cooking this. It's not going to suddenly go cold. So I'll just add a little bit of cornstarch. Just give it a stir first. See how that goes. Sorry for blocking the camera. That down to 2. I'm going to add some more soy sauce in here. This is the dark soy sauce because at this moment in time it's looking a tad anemic. We were initially looking at nearly a litre and it's reduced by a third. what was almost a litre in there is now only 3/4. Right, that is ready now, so I'm going to add the chicken to it. What we're going to do, we're going to fold it along with everything else. Get a sensible spoon. Right, I'm going to finish up here, guys. I'm going to serve it and then I'm going to show you the end product. All I'm doing now is adding my leaves of the spring onion I am now, and then cook them off and then we're ready.